見るだけ顔をし合って革命のちぎり誰にも邪魔させるわけにはいかないから
In the world of anime reviewing, I am Justice. Hello everyone, Armageddon Ninja here. You might be wondering why I'm sitting like this. It's because I can review 23% better sitting in this position. But anyways, it's time to review Death Note. Death Note is based off of a manga series and has 37 episodes and is considered to be one of the best animes out there. So, obviously I have to review and see if it really is the best. So without further ado, let's start reviewing. The story of Death Note is about a high schooler named Light Yagami who finds a notebook on the ground which says Death Note. He finds out that the Death Note has the power to kill people, and he is going to use that power to try to right the world and make it his new world and become a new god. The reason why the Death Note came upon the world is because the Shimigami, or a god of death, put it in the world so that he could see what happens when someone gets a hold of the Death Note. When people start figuring out that some mysterious force is killing people, there's a detective who gets on the case named L. He is the most notorious detective in the world, and he gets on the case, and now there's a quarrel between Light and L. Now, a lot of people have said that the story deteriorates about halfway through. Now, I don't know about deteriorating or just completely going bad. Halfway through, I can remember specifically, 2/3 of the way through at episode 17, I could see changes in the show. That doesn't necessarily mean it went completely bad. Yes, it was sort of degraded a little, but then it went back up, and then it started dropped. Here's a little example of how it went. Oh, okay. Whoa, what? The story at first was super serious, and I really loved it. It's just a fight between Light and L, or if you want to call Light Kila at this point, because in the show they call him Kila, which is an English way to say killer. Anyway, it's the battle between the two, and you want to see that. And then something happens where the setting gets a little different for some reason, and they're just stuck in this situation right here. So the sword swoops down, gets back up again, and then there's a point where things just kind of drop a bit, just drop half its quality of story, where it just brings up characters you don't even care about, a story that has some plot holes in it, a lot more than it did in the beginning. There are specifically 2 characters in here. I'm not going to tell you who they are, but I am going to give a clue what made it horrible. Okay, not horrible, but you know. Yes, the story did deteriorate around the end of the series. I wouldn't say it deteriorated halfway through, because a lot of people do, like Garkata. But I'm not like him, and I also make reviews that don't have spoilers in them, because that's not what reviews are about. I won't say that the end of the series completely destroyed what Death Note was. I enjoyed the beginning and the middle of it immensely. I enjoy it today. Just the whole plot and what happens and all the plans that each character is thinking and doing. It makes you just go, oh yes! Because the show is a thinker. It has very smart characters. They do smart things, and it's awesome to watch how everything plays out. But I really don't know what happened around the end of the series. It just got flipped, turned upside down. But the last episode was sort of a saving grace to around the end of the series of the almost garbage it was. Now I know it sounds like I'm really trashing the end of it, but it wasn't all bad. It really wasn't. The last episode was pretty good. That's enough talk about the story. Let's go on to the characters. We're only going to be focusing on 2 characters, and that's Light and L. Light is our main character. He's an all-A student. His father is the chief of police. He is the smartest person basically in Japan. He believes that he is doing justice. He is a person who wants to do right, but he's doing it in the wrong way. And he's an intriguing main character because he's sort of like Breaking Bad's Walter White, where he is the main character and he's very intelligent, but he's doing bad things that you kind of go, ooh, I kind of hate you, but I love hating you. And then there's L, sort of the hero of our story, yet he's an antagonist. I actually like L better than Light because I support him, of course, even though he has done some extreme stuff to try to capture Kira. But he's so smart and he's so strange and he's got these weird ways, and you just gotta like him for that, and his little addiction to sweets. I like to say he has Asperger's, and I like to say that he's kinda like me. Though I'm not exactly the most intelligent person, I do have my weird ways of sitting down. Both characters are great, and they are very well developed, and there's a point where they do meet. I mean, most of the show, actually. There's no spoiler right there. But people are kind of making it sound like there is some sexual tension between the two, like they're kind of homoerotic stuff going around. I really didn't see that. And there's specifically one scene that people like to talk about where there's homoerotic stuff going around, and here's the scene right here.
What are you doing?
I thought I might help you out. You were busy wiping yourself off anyway.
Look, it's fine. You don't have to do that.
I can give you a massage as well. It's the least I can do to atone for my sins. I'm actually pretty good at this.
Fine, do what you want.
All right.
Hey!
You'll get used to it.
Here, you're still soaked.
I'm sorry.
Now in the scene, at first glance, it might look like, ooh, that's a bit weird. But actually, I took it in a different way. I'm going to tell you a little story, because I think this is a little representation of the Bible, and here's what I'm going to tell you. I think what was happening in this scene was that Light was being represented as Jesus, or God, because he thinks he's a god. There's a story in the Bible where a woman goes up to Jesus and cleans his feet to forgive all her sins that she has done, and she cleans his feet by using her tears and perfume. Now in the scene, Elle is drying off Light's feet, and in the scene he says he's doing it to forgive his sins or something like that, and also a drip of water comes off his hair representing the tears that came from the woman. And so that's what I really interpreted out of it, and that's what I think the director was really going for in that scene, not some homosexual tension between the two. Alright, it's enough about that. Let's start talking about the animation. The animation is very detailed. You can really see that they went for a realistic anime look. But there was sort of a downfall for doing that, because there are some scenes where faces kind of look weird. Like this scene, for example.
I would never dream about living in a world without light.
Yes, that would be dark.
Cut it out! This is just crazy!
Hold up. Let's rewind that for a second.
I would never dream about living in a world without light.
Yes, that would be dark.
Durr. Other than the few weird faces that you might see occasionally, animation is well done. I mean, there's a lot of action, which means that they have the ability to make things a little more detailed than usual. I'm not saying there isn't any scenes with action. There are definitely some scenes where the adrenaline is really pumping. I'm just saying there's not a lot of it, because it's mostly just a confrontation of minds. The music isn't what I really expected out of it. In the openings and the endings, there was rock songs that were used in the themes. But then in the show, there was somewhat chorus, like kind of churchy, like vocals going on. But then there was just other regular instrumental stuff. So there wasn't really much of the music that really stuck to me either, and I didn't find it that special. In conclusion, we have a story that is great at the beginning, sort of deteriorates a little, then goes back up, then goes back down. But the overall story is pretty good. Characters that are absolutely fantastic. Animation that has been well done and very detailed, and music that you can forget. Now, of course, it's time to rate the show. So, let's see here. It's going to be really tough because of how the story was, but I'm going to have to give it a... around here. After really putting everything together of all the pros and cons, I'd say it's much more of a pro than it was a con. Although the worst parts of the series was not exactly spectacular, it didn't deteriorate it completely to even okay level, because most of it was a very thrilling, thinking kind of story with an excellent confrontation that was done very well. Thank you all for watching. Like if you liked the video, duh. Subscribe if you want more. Follow me on Twitter, link is in the description below. Thanks again for watching, and now I leave you with the outro.
夢を見ていらないものは全て捨てた